The shop was crowded, chairs tight, cups clinked. Ambrose Fow rose from his seat. He smiled faintly, one hand on the table, the other at his chest. He swayed. Miss Marple noticed first. His lips parted. No words came. He stumbled toward the green curtain. "Ambrose!" someone called. He did not answer. He pushed the curtain aside. He vanished into the back space. The murmur stilled. A few seconds passed. Then his voice. "Just a moment, please." Everyone heard. Clear, calm, ordinary. Relief rippled through the room, then silence. Too long, no return. Dolly Bantry whispered, "He's not well." Colonel Bantry frowned. "Best fetch Dr. Haydock." Slack moved first. He pulled the curtain aside. Gasps broke the air. Ambrose Fow lay slumped, eyes shut, face pale, his chest still. Dr. Haydock pushed forward. He bent down. He checked the pulse. He checked again. He looked up. His head moved once. "Gone," he said. No hesitation, no doubt. The man was dead. The crowd stared. They had heard him speak. They had heard him alive, but here was his body, cold, lifeless. Miss Marple leaned closer. She touched the sleeve. She touched the wrist. Already stiff. Already cooling. "How?" whispered Dolly. Colonel Bantry shook his head. "Impossible. We all heard him." Inspector Slack muttered, "Someone is playing games." He turned to the back room. Nothing there but shelves. Nothing moving. No machine in sight. Dr. Haydock spoke low. He did not die now. This happened earlier. He looked grim, much earlier. The villagers whispered. Could death speak? Could sound deceive? Fear spread. Miss Marple's eyes narrowed. She said nothing. Her mind ticked. A voice. After death. It must mean something. Edwin, the assistant, trembled. "I don't understand." He wrung his hands. He avoided the curtain, his face pale, his words broken. Dolly pressed Marple's hand. "What does it mean?" Marple replied, soft. "It means the moment was chosen. It means death was timed, not chance, not sudden." Colonel Bantry bristled. "You think this is murder?" Marple's gaze steady. "I think the curtain hides more than cloth." Dr. Haydock sighed. "Heart failure, perhaps, but the voice I cannot explain." Slack barked orders. "Clear the shop. No one leaves." The villagers obeyed. Murmurs faded. Footsteps echoed out. Miss Marple stayed still, her eyes on the curtain, her thoughts heavy, her tone final. He died before he spoke, yet we all heard him. The silence thickened. Truth waited, hidden, carefully set. Miss Marple folded her hands, her voice soft, but sharp. "The voice we heard," she said, "came from a dead man." The marmalade jar sat half empty, spoons still sticky, toast crumbs on the plate. Inspector Slack bent close. He sniffed. He frowned. "Foxglove," he said. "Trace is clear." The crowd shifted, eyes, turned. Whispers ran quick. "Pike," someone muttered. "Yes, Pike. He brought it." Miss Marple did not speak. She watched, her knitting needles still in her bag, her eyes sharper than Slack's. Colonel Bantry growled. "Ridiculous. Pike is harmless." Slack snapped back. "Harmless?" The man sold jars from his own shed. No license, no check. He knew what he was doing. Mrs. Pike cried out. "He's no poisoner. He'd never kill Ambrose. Not Ambrose. They played chess together." Slack's lip curled. "Chess is no alibi. The poison's here. The jar proves it." Miss Marple leaned forward, her voice quiet. "Proof is rarely so quick. The plant is common. But who placed it here? That is the question." Slack ignored her. He held up the jar. He tapped it hard. "This killed Fow. No more guessing." Dolly Bantry whispered, "But I tasted it too. Why am I alive?" Her face pale. Her hands shook. Dr. Haydock answered, "Small dose, enough to weaken, but not to finish." Marple's eyes lingered on Dolly. She thought of details. She thought of timing. Poison, yes. But too simple. Slack ordered constables. "Fetch Pike. Bring him in now." The villagers buzzed. Pike's name spread like fire. The man was absent, not yet at the shop. His absence made it worse. Marple tapped her chin. She looked at the jar. She looked at Dolly's cup. She said softly, "Something does not fit. The poison is real, but the hand is not his." Colonel Bantry asked, "Then whose hand?" Marple gave no reply, her silence heavier than words. Later that day, Dolly Bantry sat again, her plate before her, seed cake untouched. She reached slow. She cut one slice. She placed it on her tongue. Within moments her breath caught. Her face drained. Her body shook. She gasped out, "Not again!" Dr. Haydock rushed. He forced water. He steadied her, her pulse faint, her lips trembling. Slack cried, "More foxglove?" The same trick again. Haydock shook his head. "Number not the same. This is different." Miss Marple touched the plate. Her eyes narrowed, her voice sharp. "Not marmalade, something else." Another hand tried again. The room froze. No one moved. No one breathed. The truth heavier now. Slack scowled. 2 poisons, 2 chances, 1 intent. Marple folded her hands, her tone quiet. "Someone wants Dolly gone, and someone will not stop." The silence deepened. The fear spread. The danger doubled. But Dolly Bantry collapsed again. And it wasn't marmalade this time. The mantel held a row of cards, some plain, some heavy with ink. All spoke of pity. One card leaned crooked. Miss Marple noticed first. Her eyes caught the edge. Her fingers reached slow. It was simple. Cream paper, dark letters, printed words of sympathy. But one line looked wrong. The letters sat uneven, one pressed deeper, one tilted left. She frowned. She tilted, the card closer. Her lips moved. She read again. The word said, "Deepest condolences." But the spacing faltered. Between the D and the E, not a print fault, a choice. Dolly Bantry whispered, "Who sent it?" Her hand trembled near the card. The name below was blurred, half-inked, unreadable. Inspector Slack snatched it up. "Cheap rubbish. Printers make mistakes." He tossed it back. But Marple shook her head. "Number this is not error. This is message." Slack scoffed. "Message? What kind of message hides in crooked type?" Marple pointed. "Look again. The D stands proud. The C slants away. It spells more than grief." Colonel Bantry grumbled. "You mean code? Nonsense." But Haydock leaned near. "She may be right. Someone played with the type." The villagers muttered, "Why send a false card? Why mark the letters? What purpose served?" Edwin shifted, his face pale. He looked at the floor. Marple's eyes brushed him once, then moved away. Slack barked, "Where did it come from?" No answer clear. The envelope gone. The postmark smudged. Marple said softly, "It came from a hand. Not from grief, from knowledge." Dolly gasped. "You mean the killer?" Marple nodded faint. "Perhaps, or someone close." Suspicion grew. Eyes turned to Vale, the librarian. She flushed. She protested. "I write nothing. I send nothing." Yet doubt hung heavy. Why her name spoken? Because she worked with letters? Because she handled ink? Slack growled. "Convenient, isn't it? Books, stamps, cards. Easy for her." Vale snapped. "You see ghosts everywhere?" But Marple thought deeper. A card that mocked. Letters that shifted. A message too neat to ignore. Colonel Bantry sighed. "This village will choke on suspicion." Dolly hushed him. Better suspicion than silence. Marple's voice lowered. Her gaze fixed on the crooked card. Her words steady. "Someone is playing with us, not content with death. They leave riddles." The room fell still. No one moved. All eyes on her, all eyes on the card. Marple whispered, "Someone is mocking us, in print." The funeral was set, the date chosen, the hour fixed. Colonel Bantry handled it all. He arranged the church, he arranged the service, he chose the bearers. At first, no one minded. He was a man of order. He liked control. But whispers grew. A villager muttered, "Why so quick?" Another replied, "He insisted on dawn." "Why not noon?" Dolly Bantry overheard. Her face flushed. "My husband only wished for respect, nothing more." Still the talk spread. Funeral details meant power, and power meant suspicion. Inspector Slack took note. He pulled Bantry aside. "You arranged every detail?" Bantry nodded. "Yes, of course." Slack's eyes narrowed. "You set the time. You set the route. You held the papers. Why such control?" Bantry stiffened. "I served in war. Order is habit. Chaos insults the dead." Slack pressed harder. "Or hides the truth. A funeral can bury more than a body. It can bury evidence." Bantry's jaw tightened. "You go too far, Inspector." Dolly stepped in. "You will not accuse him. He is loyal. He is decent. You will not." But Slack did not stop. He oversaw the coffin. He oversaw the ceiling. He could have staged timing. He could have misled all of us. The villagers whispered again. A friend of Ambrose. A man of status. Could he betray trust? Vale muttered coldly. Respectable men hide deeper sins. Edwin avoided eyes. He clutched his hands. He looked torn. Marple sat quiet, her gaze steady, her thoughts measured. She spoke softly. "Suspicion shifts like smoke. Today it falls here. Tomorrow it falls elsewhere." Dolly turned to her. "Do you believe it? Do you believe my husband guilty?" Marple shook her head. Number. But questions must stand, because answers still hide. Slack scowled. "I will not dismiss it. I will press harder." Bantry's voice rose. "Then press. But you will find nothing. I buried no truth." The room grew tense. Sides formed. Some backed Bantry. Some doubted. Division spread like cracks. Marple leaned back, her voice low. "Division serves the killer. The more we quarrel, the more he hides." Dolly's eyes watered. "My husband does not deserve this." Marple laid a hand on hers. "Few deserve suspicion, but all must endure it until truth speaks." The silence fell hard. Eyes cut between them. Trust shaken. Faith cracked. Marple's words closed sharp. "Even friends may hide motives." The door creaked. The bell gave a dull note, not sharp, not clear. Miss Marple looked up. Her eyes narrowed. She rose from her chair. She walked slow to the door. She touched the bell. She tapped it once. The sound weak again. Barely a ring. Dolly frowned. It always rang loud. Everyone heard it before. Marple pinched the edge. She found a thread, thin, colorless, wound around the metal tongue. She pulled it free. The sound changed. She struck it once more. The ring burst loud, sharp, crisp. The villagers stared. Colonel Bantry muttered, "Who tied it down?" Marple held the thread high, her voice plain. Someone wanted silence. Someone wanted control. The bell was muffled. Slack moved closer, to sneak in, or sneak out. Marple nodded. Yes, to move without notice, to stage a moment unseen. Eyes shifted to Edwin. He shifted, too. His fingers twitched. His gaze fell to the floor. Slack barked. "You." "The shop boy. Did you tie it?" Edwin stammered. "No, not me. I never touched it." His voice cracked. His hands shook. Doubt thickened. Vale cut in. "Leave him. He's frightened, not guilty." Slack snapped back. "Fear is a sign. Fear means he hides something." Edwin's face burned. "I hide nothing. I only cleaned. That's all." Marple stepped closer, her tone calm. "Then you saw the thread?" Edwin froze. He gave no reply, his silence loud. Dolly whispered, "Why would anyone silence a bell?" Marple answered, to build an illusion, to shape a lie, to let an entrance pass unseen. Colonel Bantry rubbed his chin. Then Fow's death was staged, the curtain, the bell. The voice, Slack growled. All tricks, all set before we came. Marple lowered her gaze. She touched the thread once more. She spoke quiet. This was no accident. It was meant, carefully meant. The villagers murmured, fear deeper, trust weaker. Each moment darker. Dolly gripped Marple's arm. Then Ambrose never stood a chance. Marple sighed. He had no warning, only we were warned. Too late. The room stayed heavy, the truth still hidden, the signs piling higher. Marple's eyes stayed fixed. Her words ended the silence. It was not a welcome. It was a warning. The record spun. No hand touched it. No one near. Yet the needle moved. Miss Marple bent closer. She watched the turn. Soft crackles of sound. A faint voice echoed. Dolly gasped. It's him, Ambrose speaking. Colonel Bantry frowned. But he's gone. His jaw clenched. Then how do we hear him now? Inspector Slack stepped forward. He lifted the arm. He stopped the needle. The voice died. Gramophone, he muttered. Simple trick. Edwin flinched. His hands twitched. His face pale. His lips dry. Marple's eyes shifted. She asked quiet. Edwin, what do you know? He shook his head. He whispered. Nothing. I swear. Slack barked. Out with it, boy. He grabbed his arm. You set this up. Edwin broke. His shoulders sagged. His voice cracked. Yes, I did it. After he died. The room froze. Vale gasped. Why, Edwin? He stammered. I saw him. Already gone. I panicked. I feared blame. I feared for you, Miss Vale. They would think you guilty. Vale's eyes widened. You fool. You've made it worse. Slack roared. You tampered with evidence. You faked his voice. You muddied the time. Edwin nodded weakly. I thought, if they heard him alive, they'd believe he lived longer and you'd be safe. Marple's gaze stayed sharp, her words soft. You did not kill him, but you made a lie. Dolly whispered. Then it explains everything? Marple shook her head. Number, it explains one voice, not two. The room stiffened. Colonel Bantry frowned. Two? Marple nodded. Yes, we heard him once at the curtain, and again, later, from the gramophone. This trick explains the second, but not the first. Slack growled. Then who gave us the first voice? The villagers looked around, faces tight, eyes darting, suspicion deeper. Vale held her head, her voice thin. Someone else staged more. Someone else pulled. Strings. Edwin trembled. I only wanted to protect. I never meant more. Marple studied him. She spoke calm. Fear leads to folly, but folly cannot create what never was. The first voice remains. Dolly held her breath. Her hand shook against her cup. Then what does it mean? Marple's voice steady. It means the plan was larger. It means Edwin was only a pawn. The silence spread. The fear deeper. The trick revealed. But the mystery doubled. Marple's eyes sharp. Her words final. Then whose voice did we hear first? The curtain shifted. A faint smear caught the light. Green, uneven. Miss Marple stepped closer. Her eyes fixed on the mark. She touched the fabric. Her finger came away faintly stained. Colonel Bantry frowned. What is it? Marple answered plain. Ink, library ink. Inspector Slack moved in. He bent low. He saw the smear. His eyes narrowed. Who uses such ink? Marple spoke, steady. Not many. But one here does. All eyes turned. Vale stiffened. Her lips parted. Her hands clasped. Dolly whispered, Miss Vale? Marple nodded once. Her desk keeps bottles. Her work marks every page. This shade is hers. Slack stepped forward. Explain this, Miss Vale. Ink on the curtain, ink on Fow's cuff. Vale's face drained. Her voice broke. I don't know. I can't. Marple's tone stayed calm. You brushed against him, or against the cloth. Either way, the stain betrays you. Colonel Bantry muttered. She was near the shelves. She moved close. The villagers murmured. Suspicion thickened. A librarian among books, now linked to death. Slack pressed harder. Why touch him at all? Why leave your mark? What were you doing there? Vale shook her head. I did not kill him. Her words sharp. I never meant harm. Edwin whispered. She took books. I saw her. Rare ones, valuable ones. The room gasped. Dolly clutched her chest. You stole? Vale's face flushed. Her hands trembled. I borrowed. I only borrowed. I intended no worse. Marple's eyes held her. Books vanish. Ledgers altered. Forgery follows. This is more than borrowing. Slack's tone grew fierce. Ambrose found out. He caught you. You silenced him. Vale cried out. No. Not that. I never touched him. I only wanted the books. The villagers watched. Their trust cracked. Her secret out. Her name stained. Marple spoke softly. Desire blinds. What begins small grows darker. You lost control. Vale turned away. Her shoulders shook. Her voice near a sob. I loved the books. Not money. Not greed. Only the books. Slack leaned closer. But Ambrose is dead, and your ink lies here. The silence pressed heavy. No one moved. No one dared. Marple's gaze stayed firm. Her words calm. Wanting the books is one thing. Taking a life is another. Vale spun back. Her eyes fierce. Her voice rang sharp. I only wanted the books, not his life. The plate sat on the table. Seed cake untouched. One slice cut. The crumbs neat. Dr. Haydock leaned close. He sniffed once. He tested the edge. His brow furrowed. Slack asked quick. Same as before? Haydock shook his head. Number not foxglove. Something else. The villagers stirred. Confusion spread. 2 poisons meant planning. 2 poisons meant intent. Miss Marple tapped her finger, her eyes on the plate, her voice calm. He wished certainty. If one failed, the other would not. Dolly shivered. They wanted Ambrose gone, and me too. Colonel Bantry bristled. No proof of that. Haydock spoke low. The traces are strong. Whoever placed this meant death. Not sickness, not warning. Death. Slack's jaw tightened. So we deal with more than carelessness. This was layered, carefully layered. Edwin whispered, but why twice? Why both marmalade and cake? Marple answered, to confuse us, to cloud the time, to make guilt unclear. Vale folded her arms, her face pale. They wanted to be sure. Ambrose knew something. He was silenced. The villagers exchanged looks. Who had access to both foods? Who moved free through the shop? Slack ticked names. Pike with jars, Vale with keys, Edwin with shelves, Bantry with orders, any one of them. Dolly's voice shook. Not my husband. Don't say it again. Slack ignored her. He pressed Edwin. You served the cake. Edwin stammered. Yes, but I did not touch it. It was already set. Marple studied him, her tone even. You fear, but fear is not guilt. Colonel Bantry growled. This spreads suspicion wider. It helps no one. Marple replied soft. It helps truth. Each attempt narrows the mind of the killer. Few dare risk twice. Haydock straightened. The body proves both. He was poisoned. Not once. Not maybe. Twice. The villagers froze, faces pale, hearts heavy. Marple folded her hands, her words plain. He was marked. One poison, not enough. The killer left nothing to chance. Dolly's eyes glistened. So deliberate, so cruel. Marple placed a hand on hers. Cruelty often wears calm. We must see beneath. Slack slammed the table. Then listen well. No more accidents. No more delays. The killer tried twice. The room went silent. Fear deepened. every face shadowed by doubt. Marple's gaze swept the circle, her voice cut clear. The killer tried twice and failed neither time. The ledger lay open, numbers neat, lines ruled, but one column looked wrong. Miss Marple leaned close. Her finger traced the figures, withdrawals, returns, dates, and names. She paused. The spacing shifted, the entries misaligned, too regular to be accident. Colonel Bantry frowned. "What do you see?" Marple answered plain. "Not error." A pattern inspector Slack scoffed. "Patterns in ink? You see what you wish." Marple did not look up. She kept tracing. Her lips moved. One line here, one gap there. Dolly whispered, "Is it code?" Marple nodded once. "Yes, like the condolence card. Letters bent, numbers shifted, a message hidden." Slack snatched the ledger. He glared at the page. "All I see are books, Vale's books, more proof she steals." Vale stiffened. Her cheeks burned. Her voice cracked. "I did take some. I changed records, but not this code." Edwin muttered. "She always worked late. She closed the doors. No one else saw." Marple spoke, steady. "Yet these marks match the card. The hand is the same. This is not hers alone." Slack sneered. "Then who?" Marple looked thoughtful. "Someone clever. Someone who hides behind her. She is thief, but not the mind behind this." Vale's eyes welled. "I admit my fault. I loved the books. I wrote false entries. But this is beyond me." Colonel Bantry muttered, "Then she is pawn, not queen." Dolly hushed him. "It means more danger. Someone bigger plays this game." The villagers murmured. Suspicion shifted again. No longer only Vale. Another hand loomed. Marple tapped the page. "The code leads to certain titles, rare works, all tied to one name." Slack leaned in. "Whose name?" Marple did not answer yet. She closed the ledger. She folded her hands. Too soon, but not hers alone. She had help. Vale broke. Her voice cracked sharp. "I swear it. I stole, yes. I lied, yes, but murder? No, I never planned that." Marple's eyes softened. Her voice gentle. "Desire can blind, and in blindness, others use you." Edwin trembled, his voice thin. "Then we face more than theft." Marple nodded. "We face design, a plan larger than books, a hand larger than hers." The silence grew. Eyes darted, doubt heavier than before. Marple's words cut clear. She was stealing, but she was not alone. The talk would not stop. Whispers filled the lanes. Colonel Bantry's name repeated, some with doubt, some with scorn. Dolly heard it all. Her patience broke. She marched to Inspector Slack, her voice sharp. "You smear my husband. You twist every act. You will listen now." Slack folded his arms. He stared, cold. "Then explain. Explain his control. Explain his hands on every detail." Dolly held her ground. "On that day he was not near Ambrose. He was at the estate. I was with him. Others saw him. The gardener, the cook, even Haydock himself." Slack frowned. He turned to Haydock. The doctor nodded. "Yes, he was there. I spoke with him at noon, not in the shop, not near the curtain." The villagers stirred, an alibi forming, a solid wall. Slack pressed again. "What of the funeral? He ordered every part. He signed papers." Dolly snapped back. "Yes, out of duty, because others faltered, because no one else stepped forward. Would you prefer chaos?" Colonel Bantry spoke at last, his voice heavy. "I arranged order, nothing more." Miss Marple watched quietly, her eyes unreadable, her mind weighing each word. Slack sighed. He looked unconvinced, but the facts held. The times clashed. Bantry could not be there. Still the whispers did not die. Suspicion had already cut deep. Trust once lost is not quick returned. Vale muttered low. "Alibis can be built." Edwin flinched. He said nothing. Dolly faced them all, her voice firm. My husband is no liar. He is no killer. Say it again and you face me. The room fell quiet. Her words carried weight, her defense fierce. Marple leaned forward, her tone calm. Suspicion serves a purpose. It forces truth to rise. But it also wounds. Even the innocent bleed under it. Colonel Bantry nodded once. I stand cleared, but not untouched. Slack grumbled. Very well, the ledger clears him, the witnesses clear him, but the game is not over. Marple's gaze sharpened, her words deliberate. Suspicion shifts, always it shifts. If not here, then elsewhere. Dolly's hand trembled as she clasped her husband's arm. Her relief clear, but her hurt remained. The scar of doubt would stay. The villagers turned their eyes away. No one spoke further, but the silence spoke enough. Marple folded her hands, her tone soft, reflective. Truth moves like shadow. One name cleared, another soon darkened. The shadow must shift again. The name passed in whispers. Hazeligg, the dealer from London, the man who traded in rare books. The villagers muttered. Some had seen him once. Tall, neat. A voice that charmed, eyes that measured. Miss Marple listened. Every detail mattered. She spoke plain. His name ties to theft, not once, many times. Inspector Slack grunted. I've heard of him. Polished sort. Deals in pages worth fortunes. Dolly Bantry shivered. Why here? Why in our village? Marple answered soft. Because books moved from hand to hand, from Vale's shelves to his counters. She opened the path. All eyes turned. Vale stood rigid, her lips pressed tight, her eyes wet. Slack barked. Is it true? You sold to him? Vale's shoulders sagged. Her voice broke. Yes, I met him. I carried volumes. Not many at first. Then more. Always he paid. Edwin gasped. You told me nothing. You swore it was safe. Vale's hands shook. He promised no harm. He promised the books would be valued, that they would not vanish, that I would not be blamed. Colonel Bantry muttered darkly. Promises from men like him mean nothing. Slack leaned in. So you stole for him. You risked all for coin. Vale cried out. Not coin, not greed. I loved the books. He knew that. He fed it. He trapped me. Marple's gaze stayed firm. You delivered. He received. But his part was larger. He made you pawn. The villagers shifted uneasily. The thought of a London dealer pulling strings in their small world unsettled them all. Dolly whispered, He frightens me, and he is not even here. Marple nodded slowly. That is his way. Control without presence. Power without showing hand. Slack slammed the table. Then he is our man. He plotted. He gained. He killed. Marple raised a hand. Not yet. Do not leap. Vale admits theft, but not murder. Vale turned to them all, her eyes hollow, her voice thin. He gave me coin, yes. But more than that, he gave me lies. He fed my hunger for pages. He made me traitor in silence. Edwin shook his head. You let him in. You let him use you. Vale nodded weakly. Yes, but he promised it would end. He promised Fow would never know. Marple's eyes sharpened. And yet Fow did know. And now Fow is gone. The room chilled with silence. Everyone felt the weight. A shadow spread. It bore Hazeligg's name. Vale whispered once more, her words flat, her hands clenched. He paid me to deceive, but not to kill. The drawer stuck halfway. Slack pulled harder. It slid open with a snap. Inside lay a small case, black, polished. He flipped it open, a phonograph needle, not one, two. Miss Marple stepped forward, her eyes steady, her hand light on the edge. A second needle, she said. Slack frowned. What of it? Machines break, spare parts kept. Marple shook her head. Number not here, not in this drawer. This is no spare. This is clue. Dolly leaned near. What does it mean? Marple tapped the box. It means two systems, 2 tricks, 1 clumsy, 1 clever. Edwin's face drained, his voice cracked. I only used 1 gramophone, 1 record. That was all. Marple nodded. Yes, your trick was simple. You pulled a thread, a record played. It fooled some, but not enough. Slack growled. Then who used the second? Marple's voice lowered. Hayslig. The villagers stirred, eyes widened. The name spread like a chill. Vale stammered. He had skill. He could splice voices. He knew how to copy sound. Marple agreed. Yes, he edited Fow's words. He set them to play. At exactly 2:15, so all believed him alive. Colonel Bantry muttered, "A forged alibi." Marple replied, plain, "Exactly. A false presence. A man already dead made to speak." Edwin shook his head. I never knew. I thought my trick would hide her. I never guessed another trick ran too. Marple's eyes softened. You were pawn, but he was player. Your panic helped his design. Slack slammed the drawer shut. Then it settled. Hayslig framed the hour. Hayslig bent the truth. Dolly whispered, "To make us believe, to make us certain he still lived." Marple nodded, and we believed. Every one of us. That was his strength. Vale whispered low. He controlled me. He controlled the books, and he even controlled time. The villagers sat in silence. The sound of the false record still in their ears. The thought of a voice built from pieces haunted them. Marple folded her hands, her words calm, reflective. A voice can lie, a machine can lie, but the truth waits in silence, and silence told us more than sound. The room held still. All eyes turned to her. Her voice sharpened. The true voice of the dead was his creation. The drawer groaned open, papers shuffled inside, old letters, unsent. Miss Marple lifted one. The ink faded, the words clear enough. She read aloud. Hayslig deals in fraud. He cheats buyers. He forges provenance. If he dares again, I will expose him. The room stilled. All listened. The name sharp, the warning sharper. Inspector Slack leaned in. Written by Fow? Marple nodded. His hand, no doubt. Colonel Bantry muttered. So he knew. He had known for years. Marple laid another letter flat. Similar words, similar threat. Ambrose never posted them. Dolly whispered. Why keep them hidden? Marple's voice steady. Perhaps he feared danger. Perhaps he waited. But the danger came first. Slack scowled. Then Hayslig's motive wasn't just profit. It was revenge. Vale trembled, her voice weak. He always said Ambrose stood in his way, but I thought it was business. Marple's eyes fixed on her. Business, yes, but pride more. He was challenged, he was exposed, and he would not forgive it. Edwin muttered. Ambrose meant to ruin him. Hayslig ruined Ambrose instead. Marple tapped the letters. Years of warning, never sent, never acted, but remembered and punished. Slack paced. He feared exposure. He feared prison. So he silenced the one man who dared speak. Colonel Bantry clenched his fists. All this for ego. Not money, not books. Ego Marple spoke calm. Ego is sharper than coin. Wounds deeper. Drives harder. Vale wept. He used me. He used the books. But Ambrose was the true target. Dolly touched her hand. You let him close, and he struck through you. Vale bowed her head, her silence heavy. Marple's eyes lowered to the papers, her tone reflective. Revenge dresses as business, but truth wears through, always. Slack grabbed the letters. Proof enough. We'll press him with this. He cannot talk his way free. Marple said quiet. Letters prove anger, but not hand of death. Still motive is clear. It was personal. The villagers exchanged looks. The story darker now. Not trade, not theft. Hatred. Colonel Bantry muttered. Ambrose tried to warn, but he left it too late. Marple whispered. Too late indeed. For once silence did not keep peace, it brought death. The room sank still, the truth harder, the danger nearer. Marple's words cut sharp. He silenced Fow, for good and forever. The report came first. From London, a search completed, evidence found. Inspector Slack read the sheet. His face hardened. He looked at Marple. He kept more than books. Marple nodded. Show them. The list was long. Forgery tools, false book plates, polished seals, edited ledgers, a gramophone prepared with spliced records. Colonel Bantry muttered. Professional deceit. Dolly shivered. All hidden behind charm. Vale sank into her chair. Her hands shook. Her voice cracked. I carried books to him. I helped without knowing. This is my fault. Marple touched her arm. You were blind, not wicked. He used you. Edwin stood pale, his voice thin. I confess, too. I set the first trick. I feared for her. I feared the law. But I never killed Ambrose. Slack's voice cut sharp. Fear is no shield, but your part is small. His part is not. The door opened. 2 officers led Hazeligg inside, calm, composed, his coat neat, his eyes steady. The villagers stared. Some whispered, some drew back. Slack stepped forward. Julian Hazeligg, you are under arrest. Forgery, fraud, and murder. Hazeligg smiled faintly. Arrest is easy. Proof is not. Vale cried out. You ruined me. You ruined Ambrose. Hazeligg's gaze slid to her. You ruined yourself. I only gave you a path. Edwin shouted. You used us both. You turned us into tools. Hazeligg tilted his head, and you obeyed. No whip, no chain. You obeyed because you wanted to. Slack snapped the cuffs. The steel clicked shut, the sound final. Dolly held her breath. Is it over now? Marple answered soft. Justice begins, but the wound remains. Colonel Bantry grunted. At least the village can breathe again. Marple shook her head. Not yet. Suspicion lingers. Trust once cracked is not quickly mended. Vale bowed her head. Her tears fell. I will never be forgiven. Marple's tone softened. Forgiveness may come, but never forgetfulness. That is the true cost. The officers moved Hazeligg toward the door. He turned once, his eyes cold, his lips curled. He sneered. But you'll never prove which hand struck first. Miss Marple sat still. The case was nearly closed, but her mind did not rest. She thought of the bell, a thread wound tight, a sound muffled, one small act. But it let a lie grow. She thought of the ink, a stain on a curtain, a smear on a cuff. Careless, perhaps. Yet it pulled Vale into light. She thought of the card, letters out of line, a code placed with intent, mockery hidden in sympathy, a cruel trick. Each sign was tiny, each sign overlooked by others, but together they revealed design. Colonel Bantry stood nearby. He muttered, Strange how small things topple large men. Marple nodded. Yes, threads hold more than cloth. They hold truth. Dolly sighed. All for books, all this death, all this shame. For books. Marple's voice softened. Number not for books, for what books represented. Greed, pride, power. Edwin sat hunched. I never saw it until too late. I thought I was clever. I was only a fool. Marple's eyes turned to him. You feared for someone you cared for, but fear clouded judgment. It often does. Vale spoke faintly. I loved the volumes, the pages, the bindings. I thought it was harmless. I thought it was devotion, but it was hunger, and he used it. Marple's tone steady. Human greed often wears fine dress. It speaks of culture. It speaks of taste. But beneath it, the same rot. Desire without limit, and cruelty when challenged. Inspector Slack shook his head. I chased noise. You followed threads, and the threads told more than I could. Marple gave a thin smile. Noise fades. Threads endure. The villagers said little, their faith shaken, their trust wounded. Colonel Bantry growled. At least the truth stands now. Marple looked at him, her voice quiet. Truth stands, yes. But peace takes longer. Dolly clasped her hands. Ambrose deserved better. Marple whispered. He deserved safety. Instead he faced greed. Silence settled. Every face remembered the cost. Every heart carried the weight. Marple folded the ledger shut. Her tone final. Deceit spreads wide, but even wide deceit breaks. It cannot hide forever. Her eyes lowered, her thoughts heavy. Still, the price is high, and no village escapes unchanged. She rose slowly. Her gaze swept the room, her words cut clear. But what we lost was more than books. Dolly sat quiet by the hearth, her hands folded, her eyes down. The room was not loud now. The case was ended. But peace had not returned. Colonel Bantry stared into the fire, his jaw stiff, his pride still sore. Vale sat apart, her shoulders bent, her guilt heavy. No one spoke to her. Edwin hovered by the wall, ashamed, too young to bear so much. Inspector Slack shuffled papers. He muttered about reports, but even his voice lacked force. Dr. Haydock sighed. He rubbed his brow. Justice is done, yet it feels thin. Dolly nodded. We have truth, but no comfort. Miss Marple's eyes moved from face to face. She saw distance. She saw wounds, not all from murder, some from suspicion. She spoke softly. Friendship strained, trust cracked. That is the shadow murder leaves. Dolly whispered, I defended him. Yet even I was doubted. Colonel Bantry grunted. It will pass. But his voice lacked weight. Marple shook her head. It never passes entire. Suspicion lingers, even when proved false. Vale lifted her eyes, her voice thin. I was blind. I let him use me. The books were all I saw. Now I am nothing. Marple's reply was gentle. You are not nothing, but you must carry memory. That is punishment enough. Edwin's voice cracked. I wanted to protect her. Instead I helped him. Marple's gaze softened. Good intent cannot erase folly, but it can lead to better choices next time. Slack closed his notebook. The court will handle Hazeligg now. That is my part done. Marple nodded. Yes, but the village carries more than the court ever sees. Dolly leaned closer to her. Do you think it heals? Marple answered quiet. In time, yes, but never fully. Truth heals slowly, and scars always remain. The hearth crackled. The silence pressed. Every face bore weight. Marple folded her hands, her tone final. Ambrose lost to greed. Greed hidden as culture. Greed dressed as care. But greed still. She looked to Dolly. Take comfort. Justice came. Relief came. Yet sorrow stays. That is honest. Dolly's eyes watered, her voice low. I will remember him kindly, not for how he died, but for who he was. Marple inclined her head. That is best. Let memory be kinder than truth. The room fell silent again, not empty, not free, but quieter. Marple rose, her eyes on the curtain, her voice soft. And still behind every curtain waits another shadow.